Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mermaid Zari and I am an authorized designer for Mertailor. Today I'll be showing you how to order your very own custom tail and work with me on your own custom design, which is super exciting. I've had a lot of questions come in, so I wanted to make this video to make it super easy for you. I probably directed you to this video so you could see how to sign up, how to pay for your design, how to pay for your final tail, and how the whole process works. So make sure to like, follow, and subscribe just to see how everything works. It's a really easy process and I can't wait to work with you. It's going to be so much fun. So let's get started. Okay, so the first step is to check the Mertailor.com and to see how much custom tails actually cost, because they can become kind of costly. So what I do is I go to Whimsy Tail, go to Custom Whimsy Tails, and then press Purchase here, and then you'll see all of the pricing on Mertailor's side. The pricing on Mertailor's side is for the actual tail that you're getting printed. So what you want to do is press this, Custom Whimsy, and then that will bring you to the actual page where it shows you how much everything costs. So the base is $340, which is already expensive as it is, but all of the fins, as you can see, add on a little bit to the tail. It also depends on which fluke you want. You can choose from the original number 2 and 3. Pretty soon you'll be able to choose from number 4, but we don't have access to that yet. And then you get to choose your tail size. Tail size doesn't matter. What does matter is the amount of actual fins you want to add on, and that will definitely change your price of the tail. So for example, if I want all of the fins, that's going to make my tail a lot more expensive than the original one, see? That brings it up almost to $600. So what I recommend doing is, if you're a first-time buyer of a custom tail, I would stick to the lower priced one to see how you like it before spending so much money on something that you might not use all the time. Another thing is, when you are choosing your tail at the end, you have to make sure to choose me. So I'm only speaking for myself. This is how I design, but I wanted to show you what you'd be paying for on Mertailor's side. So I think it's really important for you to go through this website, and I will link all of this down below, but go through this website and see how much your tail will cost, which fins you actually need, which ones you don't need. And then after you have accomplished this, after you have set out a price for yourself on this page and seen, okay, my tail is going to cost $585, let's say that, or you just want to do a dorsal fin, let's see, for example, and hip fins. Let's just say you want to do that. My tail is going to cost $485. It is a Fantasy 3 tail, and it has hip fins and a dorsal fin. Let's just say that. And then afterwards, you have that price. You would go over to my page, and you would say, okay, let's see how much Mermaid Zari charges for her designs. So what you want to do is, when you're on my page, which is mermaidzari.com, is go to Shop. And then here you will see I have my 48 tail design, Anytime Mertailor fabric tail design. So what's really good about this is that I will get back to you within 48 hours of you purchasing a tail design. And I'll be like, hey, I need you to tell me what you want and what you need, and I'll go over all of that in a second. But first, what I want to do is I want to talk about my pricing, because I've changed it very recently, actually today. So I know that COVID has hit a lot of people really hard, and I want people to be able to order custom tails and have fun and swim in their own designs. So what I've done is I have designed several different payment options for people for different styles of tails. So for example, you could want a 2 to 3 colored tail, same front and back, and that will only cost you $50 for the design. So then you would just take that $50 and add that to $485, and that would be your total. And just a side note, I don't charge any extra or anything like that for fins. You can add on as many fins as you want. I will design them for you, that's not a problem. It's just that on Mertailor's side, you will have to pay more for extra fins. And another cool thing that I've seen people do is that they've asked Mertailor not to sew on the fins of the tail. So you can put them on the actual ankle area or in a different spot if you want. So I thought that was kind of cool. So that's also an option a lot of people don't know about. But going back to this, the 2 to 3 colored tail, same front and back, is $50. So that's super cheap compared to some of the other options, and you would have this tail done within a week, which is really nice. The tip scale, 2 to 3 colored tail, is when there's some sort of like scale tipping. Here, let me show you if I can. Oh, this is a perfect example of like a 2 to 3 colored one. So this one you have scales just tipped to a different color. You can either do metallic or, you know, like it just has to be within the 2 to 3 color option. And that is $100. I just add on that extra 50 because scale tipping is very difficult. It's very tedious. It takes forever. And people like different types of scale tipping. So some people really like it when it's like super thin, when it's only halfway on the tail, or in the middle only, or if it's like super thick, depending on what colors they choose. So I add on a 50 for that. And that is the same back and front. Going over to a full custom, which is a tail that you can add on whatever the heck you want. So you can add on, for example, textures or any different styles. Like you can add on these little cute fins on the side. That's not included in the other ones, but if you buy a full custom, you know, it's $180, but it's worth it because you get to do to design whatever you want. And this is the same front and back. It's $20 more expensive to add on a back. So if you want a different front and back, then I recommend going with the $200 version because then you'll have a different base then. Okay, so moving forward, let's say you choose a full custom and you want a different front and back, that's $200. Therefore, you would pay me this amount, but you would have to add it on to whatever this price is, right? So it'd be $685, which can get pricey. So just make sure you kind of budget yourself and see how much money you can actually spend so you're not overspending. And also you have to remember that if you are going to get a Mertailor custom, you do have to get one of his monofins to fit the tail because nothing else fits in these tails. So just, you know, consider your value and see how much you can budget to see what works for you. So what's special about my designs is that I design these tails for you within a week. So I had a really bad time getting started with these tail designs because it would take me forever. It would take me months to design these tails before I came up with this method, with a totally different style, different method. And people used to wait like 5 or 6 months, which I know a lot of people still do for custom tails. And right now what I try to do is get all of my tails done for my customers, have them all done within a week so that they don't have to worry about it. It's an easy purchase. It's constant communication via email. And it helps them, you know, actualize their dreams right away so they don't have second thoughts later on in the process, which I've seen happen a lot of time. And so what you would do is you would choose your tail, you would purchase it, and while going for a purchase, you would let me know which fantasy you would want. You would want the original fantasy, the 2 or the 3, so let's say you're gonna do a 3. And then which hip fins do you want? Which fins do you want? You want the hip fins and you want the dorsal fin. And then what I need you to do is to make me a beautiful Pinterest board with all of your ideas and concepts, because that is the best way for me to see what you want on your tail, including all of your colors, maybe inspirational tails that you want, any sort of like wording that you want on the tail, any symbols. This is the place to add your content so that I can benefit from all of this and make your dream tail for you. So creating a Pinterest board is really easy. I will add a video for you guys or something like that because I'm not going to explain it. It's super easy. But you can look in my links down below and there will be an explanation or like a blog tutorial or something like that. It's super easy, super fast. And all I want you to do is just stuff all of your content in there so it's not you emailing me constantly over and over and over again. And I can just look back to the Pinterest board instead. So much easier. And it's easier for you too because you only have to do it once and then we can discuss the rest over email. So then you would put in your email. Please make sure your email is 100% yours and that you're going to be using it to communicate with me because that's where I will be sending your contract and everything. So please make sure that's on point. And you can also include your Instagram handle. So when I post these tails, I always tag the person who I've designed it for because I think that's really important. And so it's always fun to add in your Instagram so I can, you know, send it over. So then we can press purchase. And of course, these things are required. Of course, the Pinterest board and everything are required. So make sure to fill that out. Yes, you do have to pay via debit or credit card or, you know, like PayPal card or whatever the heck you want, as long as it's a card. That's how it works. Okay, so now going backwards, what will happen is when you purchase a tail, what I want you to do is to also email me your Pinterest board or say, hey, I bought this tail and stuff. I will see it on my end too, but just to make sure everything went through, I would like you to email me because it's easier on both ends and then we can get started. And so as soon as you purchase your tail, what I will do is I will send you a Mertailor contract. And this contract is for me to see what your size is for the Mertailor tail, how many fins you want, and it's just acknowledging that you have read through Mertailor's, all of his, statements and everything, and you're following the rules, so to speak. And this contract is then sent to Mertailor when we are done with his tail, along with your high definition design. So it's really important to have your email in here, otherwise I can't send it to you. So I will send that contract to you, you will fill it out, and then we'll get started on your tail right away. And that's when I start emailing you. And that's when I start actually designing the tail for you. When you are choosing your sizes, make sure to double check your sizes because that is so important. It is so important to choose the right size because it is very difficult for me to change your size later on in the process, and you cannot get your money back if you keep changing your sizes when Mertailor already has your custom design. Like, that is a huge no-no, it just doesn't happen. So please, please, please make sure to check your size. And so let's say that we are already communicating about your tail, we're going back and forth with email. It might take a few times for me to get your tail right just because I'm not in your head. I don't know exactly what you want or what you're thinking, but at one point we will hit the right tail. We will get the right place. There are so many different options and they're all amazing, and it's just really exciting to see all of these new tails come up and everything. So what I recommend doing is just having a really clear Pinterest board because that will help me a lot and it'll help me get the tail right for you right away. So let's say we've settled on a tail. What I'll do is I'll send you a back and front of the tail. You will upload those screenshots to Mertailor when you're ordering your tail, which is right over here. I'll show you this. So you'll choose me as your designer, Mermaid Zari, and then you will upload your final design right here. You'll just choose file and then you can upload whatever you want. Perfect. So you can upload it, you go through all of this, you select all of your things, and then you pay for the Mertailor tail, and then you're all set to go. Then you're just waiting for your tail. After you go through this process, one of the people from Mertailor will message me and they'll tell me, hey, this person has submitted their tail design. Can we please have their contract and their high quality design? So what I do on my end is I send over the contract to the Mertailor team and the high definition design, and then they print it out. They make the tail for you. And then that tail is sent out to you. I know that the waiting times depend right now just because it's the holiday season, but I think that's the easiest way of explaining it. So I hope that was pretty good. I hope that was a pretty good explanation of how it works. Let me know if you have any questions. I don't think I missed anything other than the fact to, make sure your tail is unique. Like, don't steal other people's designs. Like, I'm not gonna recreate anyone's design. I'm a big part of the mermaid community. Like, I follow along, I know what's happening. And I usually can tell when someone's taking someone's design, unless it's like a mermaid that I've never ever seen before on Instagram, which that's when it gets difficult. But if I ever see anyone stealing a design, I usually say something and I'm like, hey, that's been done before, like, we can't do this. But I've done a bunch of whimsy koi tails. I've done a bunch of mandarin gobies, a lot of clownfish, and they all can be very different. Like, fish, even in nature, are all very different. They have very different scales and everything, so there's always a way around to make it unique to you. Okay, so now that you've seen everything, you can leave your questions down in the comments down below. I will go ahead and I will answer all of those questions for you, so just ask away, ask anything you want, and I will answer it. And I can't wait to work with you. I know that a lot of you are looking for future custom tails, and I think that Mertailor is the way to go because it's really cozy and comfy and easy to swim in. So I personally like my Fantasy 3 the most, just because it has the most propulsion in it. So that's just something to consider in the future. But otherwise, I'm excited to work with you, and thank you so much for watching my video. Make sure to subscribe for future videos and updates to this video as well. So stay tuned. Thank you guys.